What's up YouTube, Card Boss here, back in another video where we talk about cards, money, investing. Today I'm going to talk about, I guess, the set that everybody's waiting to hear about a lot more, which is the 2015 Vibranium set, right? I know that in the past, there's a lot of talks about PMG, and everything's basically PMG, and everybody's kind of a bit jaded on the PMG topic and just basically looking for something new. And of course, with the skyrocketing PMG prices, people are trying to look for the next best thing. And the ones that come slightly closer with a bunch of differences would be this Vibranium set. Okay, so before I'm going to talk about the investment potential of this set and what are things that you should look out for, just going to touch on a bit about this set. So like I said, this is a release in 2015. It has several parallel sets. It's a 90 card base set with unnumbered raw parallel. There's a molten out of 299, there's refined out of 99, a radiance out of 50, and a very rare bar that's out of 5. I think my last video when I talked about the Wolverine radiance, I covered a bit on that. So I do have some examples here to show you, which we can go through later. Now, a lot of people forget that aside from the base parallel sets, there are inserts in the set. Okay, so they are manufactured patches. I think there's a double patch. There are some autograph cards and stuff like that. But unfortunately, first thing that goes against these inserts is they are not serial numbered, and there are no pack odds for these inserts, even though there is the box odds stating that you get 1 or 2 of these inserts in each of the box. But without any pack odds and also serial numbering, it's hard to know the true scarcity of this set, even if there is even mentioned that some of the manufactured patches for Spider-Man or Wolverine is considered short print. But seems like the hype is more on the serial number cards because of the similarities you have with the PMGs. So I guess that's where people are focused on, and that's where most of the money is going in. Now, with this Vibranium, right now, it's been a while. It's been like 6 to 7 years already. Vibranium, it's not a new product. Okay, so why has it caught on so quickly? Now, firstly, of course, we talked about looking at what are the investment potential for certain cards in Marvel, and one of the key things that we look at is serial numbering. So serial numbering or hard number, it's not new in Marvel. There's lots and lots of serial number cards, even dating back before this Vibranium series. But what kind of attract a lot of people to this set is basically the look of the cards itself. Nice looking art, nice backgrounds, with different parallels, and of course, 90 card set. It's a huge set, so it's quite a big chase to some people. When you compare to other smaller sets that generally is between 20 to 40 cards, so 90 cards is huge. But huge represents challenge, and people just love challenges to put together sets. However, I don't know what's the investment potential of completed sets for Vibranium, particularly because of the lineup of characters. It's watered down quite a fair bit, and not just saying that because you have the few main characters and you go down to a lot of unknowns, but even the main characters, like for example Captain America, card number 1 is actually Sam Wilson Captain America, and then you have Miles Morales Spider-Man, which is actually a good thing, but you lose Peter Parker Spider-Man. Whereas if you talk about the 2017 Flare Ultra, you had both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, and I guess another one would be Thor, Jane Foster's Thor, so instead of the regular Thor that we used to get. So there are a bunch of changes in the lineup, and we'll see that some of these cards are pretty worth a lot of money, okay, but some they're not. So putting together a set, not really sure on the big potential of that. Okay, so I want to touch on a bit about the cards first. So I'm just going to go from back forward. So I'm going to look at these sets first. So these are samples of the Molten that's out of 299. Right, as you can see here, Iron Man, got Black Widow. So a lot of big names and nice color matching with the Daredevil as well. So a lot of people gravitate towards this Vibranium and Molten, especially because it just looks good. The red background is just stunning, right? Unfortunately, if you take it out of the sleeve, right, people claim that it has the refractor slash hollow look to it. It does have the gloss, but it's a gloss finish and not really a hollow or foil kind of background, aside from the foil that you see here on the text on the top, but it's mainly the look and the color of the background that kind of appeal to people. And why it actually appealed much earlier on, I'm not talking about today, I'm talking about maybe about a month or two ago. These Vibranium Moltens out of $299, serial number of $299, can be had for pretty cheap. Like we're talking about less than $50 for some of them. I believe I picked up a bunch of these along the way in the last 30 to 45 days, and I do remember like the Hulk was like $30. I think Scarlet Witch was like 10. I picked up the Star-Lord for 10, right? And obviously all these are all now worth a lot more money given that the amount of interest in these Vibranium Moltens. And why Moltens are still hot? Because the entry price on these are still relatively low, and there's a lot of quantity out there, especially for the bigger characters. Like you could easily buy a Black Widow, I think today, for like $70, which is fairly affordable price. Of course, when you consider investment potential, whether or not 70 can become 100 or 150, that's a different story altogether, which I want to talk a bit more when we move up to the other sets. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next rank, would be the ones that's out of 99, and this is the refined. And in basketball terms, we have this thing called the cracked ice kind of feel. And a lot of people love these kind of backgrounds here. I kind of like it as well. Okay, the one thing that goes for me that's not so appealing for the refine is the existence of radiance, right, which is our 50. So refine is kind of like the slight upgrade over molten. So this is $299, this is $99. So I would assume that the prices will be 3x of the molten. It's actually not the case. I know that there's a premium, maybe double, okay, but definitely not the 3x. And you can see on eBay today, people are asking a whole lot of money, right, for refines. And there is a reason for that as well, because the next level, which is radiance, is hard to come by. I believe some of you may notice that a month ago you would see a lot of radiance, and in fact there was a radiance complete set, I believe 60 days ago, that was on eBay for $2,400, and I was procrastinating myself and in fact placed an offer for $1,500 that obviously got rejected, and now that set, complete set, is probably worth in excess of maybe $5,000 to $8,000 as a set. Okay, so because of the scarce number of radiance, right, so it has trickled down the interest into refine, and as you see a lot of these refined versions popping up, you know, from a starting average price of between maybe 150 to about 350. Of course, I'm not going to touch about individual cards on which one's worth more than the other. Okay, I'm just doing a comparison with the sets. So we come back to the radiance, which is my favorite set of all, right? It has a nice kind of kaleidoscope kind of feel, which I enjoy, right? So these are numbered out of 50, as you can see here, right? And the next level will be the bar, which out of 5. But like what I talked about in my last video, right, the bar look not aesthetically pleasing in my opinion. So I feel that the radiance would be the one that would stand out more and create more buzz. And of course, the number of available quantities are much greater out there with 50. Okay, and I liked card sets that's a bit more liquidity in the market, so there is opportunity to have price comps, right? So if something that's out of 5 and you want to take it off the market, you seldom see another one come again for a long time. It's quite hard to comp those kind of prices, and that's the problem you have with PMG green, and that's why I like PMG blue. For the same reasons, I enjoy radiance. So it has just the right amount of scarcity to command that kind of premium. So if I were to invest, it will be definitely from the radiance set. Okay, so when we touch about, so we know about radiance set now, right? So as in which are the parallels that I would go. Of course, this is depending on all your budgets, right? What kind of characters would you be looking at? Like I said, the top few characters in this set, because once you take away Sam Wilson, you know, you take away Jane Foster, you're probably looking at Wolverine, Miles Morales, obviously. You would have Deadpool, you know, so these are the few big hits, but comparing that, you know, these are just a handful of hits when you compare to a 90 card set. So a lot of these characters, right, Black Widow, even Iron Man, right, they drop off significantly in terms of price. Doesn't matter which variation to go. So if you're thinking that, you know, a Black Widow Radiance is going to be worth, you know, $1,000 to $2,000 one day, you know, it's hard for me to imagine that at the moment. It's easy for me to see the price escalations for Miles, for Deadpool, for Wolverine, right? So these are top 5 Marvel characters, and I can see that demand keeps on going up, and there will be people chasing for those rare pieces, especially on the Radiance and Refine as well. So if you're looking for that, that's the play you should be going. But for me, the prices are pretty high on Vibraniums already. If you started this process 60 days ago, like myself, you would have been able to pick up something that at a reasonable price and get the necessary returns that you'll be looking for when you flip these kind of cards. But these days, starting price, like the Wolverine closed for $2,800 yesterday. I talked about it. I think that there is some upside because it's Wolverine, but when you look at let's say like a Thanos, right? So I can't remember what I paid, and I didn't do analysis on what this is worth today. But let's just say, for argument's sake, this is $500. Would a Thanos $500 go up to $1,000 in 30 days? It's hard. I think that there is interest maybe from people who try to put together the sets. Like I said, 90 cards is a huge set to put together, but people love challenges, right? But you have to remember what's the end goal of putting together a set. Will there be demand for sets, especially a set as large as this? I like sets that are more compact. 20 to 40 cards is just right, with the correct lineups, of course. Now Vibranium lineups, I believe it's watered down a bit. There are top big cards in the set, the Wolverine, the Deadpool, the Miles Morales, but it gets watered down so much after that when you start to price the sets, a lot of people, potential buyers, will whether you buy a raw set or a graded set, will kind of discount, I would say, 70% of the cards that's in the set, and just focusing on the value of the bigger cards within the set. So you have to take that into consideration, especially when you start paying certain premiums on the last fillers of those cards that you need, and in fact you're gonna have full expectation of not getting back any value for those cards. So that's my take on Vibraniums, right? So am I investing more into Vibraniums? Only if I can find certain pieces at decent prices, or big pieces. Like I said, I don't mind looking again at Wolverine, Deadpool, and Miles Morales, but obviously the prices are expensive. But there are many other things that I can be looking at to channel my funds into. But this is a nice set to have, right? It's very nice looking, right? I call this the sea of red, right? It just looks good, and I just love the Radiance as well. It's just really eye-catching together. And Marvel's all about eye appeal, right? So there is opportunity, of course, for certain cards. I wouldn't say go all out and buy every single Vibranium that you see. Prices are a bit high at the moment, so do exercise some diligence and do a bit of homework on some of these prices to see whether or not it's worthwhile. There's still room to make, right? I'm not saying that we have reached a peak or anything like that, but to me as an investor, the price point has gone up to a bit high, to above my comfort level, and I would rather be looking at other sets. But nevertheless, I love Vibraniums. I think a lot of people love Vibraniums as well. So have fun with it, and hope this video was informative. So if you want to check out more of my videos, do like, subscribe for future content. Thanks for watching, guys. Cardboard's out.